Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. For if ye forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you forgive not men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. But Hashem, Hamashach Yahushua, the one of Yah. Amen.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Psalms 133 in the last one, Kodash. Repeat the evil. Sheyam, Hama'alwa, Laduwa, Hana, Mal, Tawab, Wama, Nayam, Shabbat, Akim, Gum, Yakhad, Kashaman, Atuwa, Ayo, Habra'ash, Yoram, Ayo, Zakwan, Aharon, Shayarad, Ayo, Payam, Manawakiwa, Kato, Haramwan, Shayarad, Ayo, Hariyah, Tiziwan, Kaya, Sham, Tazawa, Yahweh, Habracha, Kayayam, Haibalam, Bahashem, Mashiach, Yahushua, the Word of Yah, Amen.
Psalm 133 in English. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon their head that ran out upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments. As the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion, for there the Most High commanded a blessing, even life forevermore. From Hashem HaMashach Yahushua, water of Yah,
Amen. Hallelujah.
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 Who's the power?
And how is the power?
Who's the power?
And how is the power?
By Hashem.
Yahushua.
By Hashem.
Yahushua.
All praises, all thanks, all blessings to the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the power of Israel. We thank you, Yahweh, for giving us this night. We thank you, Yahweh, for giving us this celebration. We thank you, Yahweh, for giving us this victory over our enemies in the face of Nicanor. Baruch Hushai Yahweh, send the right spirit amongst us this evening, and we might review our history and our word, and we might be edified with the history of our people and the history of being victorious in the eyes of the Heavenly Father, that he might continue to bring victory to the children of Israel, even in these last days. All this we ask in the name of Mashiach Yahushua. Let all that have breath praise Yahweh.
Hallelujah.
Let all that have breath praise Yahweh.
Hallelujah.
Let all that have breath praise Yahweh.
Hallelujah.
Hashem Mashiach Yahushua, the one in Yah, one.
Amen.
You shall be seated. All right, all blessings to the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, for his mercy truly endured forever. All right, we're going to get into this history. We're going to get this understanding. What we're celebrating tonight, in order to get this history, you got to have your Apocrypha. Because this history is in the Apocrypha. It is in the book of Maccabees. Does everybody have an Apocrypha? Anybody doesn't have one? You know what one says? Okay. Malachi comes sit up next to Yazakat. Okay. And matter of fact, lend this to my Apocrypha. There's not one on the shelf. Do you have the one on the shelf? The one there? No? All right. We're going to start on page 154. of the red apocrypha, the other red one, page 154. All right. Okay. So even before we get to that, we're going to get a couple of scriptures in the, in some other books before we even get to 154. When we get to the story, we're going to start at 154. So let's get Colossians 3, verse 17 first and foremost. Giving all thanks to the Most High in the name of the Mashiach Yahushua.
The book of Colossians chapter 3 and verse 17.
Mm-hmm.
And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of our Mashiach Yahushua, giving thanks to the Most High and the Father by him.
Right, always giving thanks to the Most High in the name of Mashiach Yahushua, right, in the name of the anointed Savior. Right, so all praises be to the Holy One of Israel. All right, so let's get Exodus 15 and 3. Start there.
Before we get Exodus chapter 15 and verse 3.
God.
The Most High is a man of war.
Right.
The Most High is his name.
All right, so we started here just to get, full comprehension of what we're about to read and why things go down the way they go down with the Most High. First and foremost, the Heavenly Father is a man of war. Okay? From the inception, from the beginning, we have to battle. There's spiritual battles, there's physical battles, there's internal battles, there's external battles. Okay? But when you're serving the Most High, you have to become a warrior. Okay? You got to become a warrior. Because that's the power we serve. He said the Most High is a man of war. First of all, the Most High is a man. It's not a woman. Okay? Not a feminine vibration. It's a masculine vibration. That's on the Most High. He's the Heavenly Father. Okay? Make no mistake about it. Okay? And our Heavenly Father is a warrior type spirit that sets up one against another. Let's get it out. Go to the Apocrypha now, get Ecclesiasticus. I have my book. Get Ecclesiasticus, and let's get the going to all his creation. There's one to get right here. 33 and 13. 33 and 13.
The book of Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha.
That's in the Apocrypha. Ecclesiasticus. Tell them what page in the red Apocrypha.
It's page 90 in the red Apocrypha.
Yeah, page 90 in the red Apocrypha.
Chapter 33 and verse 13.
Right.
As the clay is in the potter's hand,
Right.
to fashion it at his pleasure, so man is in the hand of him that made him, to render to him as liketh him best.
Right. So as clay is in the potter's hand, if you're a potter, you got clay, you can make the clay out to be anything you want it to be. So we have to understand the Most High, being a man of war, he can make anybody out to what he wants him to be. You want it to be the opposition, you want to be on the right side or the wrong side. He creates this friction that's undeserved. Okay? The Most High creates the friction that we see. That's why the Son of Man said, the Son of the Most High said, listen, don't think I came to bring peace on earth. I came not to bring peace, but a sword. And what's a sword used for? It's used for fighting. So really, if you look at the earth, it makes more sense that the creator of heaven and earth is a warrior spirit if you look at history on this earth, right? If God was all love, like they teach us in the churches, and all peace, what's going on in this earth? You know what I mean? You would think this thing is totally out of control, right? But no, it's actually, everything goes according to the will of the Most High. All right, read on.
Verse 14.
Mm-hmm.
Good is set against evil.
What's that?
Good is set against evil.
So that's one battle right there. Good is set against evil. You have good on one side, evil on the other side, and they're against each other. They're at conflict. All right, read on.
And life against death.
Come on.
So is the righteous against the sinner.
Right.
And the sinner against the righteous.
So that was always going to be a battle there. A lot of people say, why we all just can't get along? Because the righteous is going to be against the sinner, and the sinner is going to be against the righteous. That's always going to be the case. Okay? That's how the Heavenly Father created us. Remember, he's the potter and we're the clay. Okay? So he created some of us to stand up for righteousness. And then the sinner, you won't be able to get along with the sinner. All right? There's going to be a conflict there. There's going to be a clash. Right? But what we pray for always is the victory. The victory towards Yah. Whatever Yah's, whatever righteous victory can be established, that's what we want to get. That righteous resolve. That righteous victory. That's what we fight for. Okay. That's what we pray for. That whatever battle we go through, we get the victory. Okay. Keep moving in Sirach, but now give me Sirach, the first chapter. Same book, Ecclesiastes, the first chapter. Second chapter, first verse.
The book of Ecclesiastes in the Red Apocrypha, page 71, chapter 2, and verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Most High, prepare thy soul for temptation.
Right.
Set thy heart aright, and constantly endure.
And constantly do what?
Endure.
All right, so when somebody has to endure, what does that mean? When somebody has to endure, what kind of situation are they in? Right? A what? Suffering, a trial, right? Trouble, right? If you have to endure something, that's not easy. Enduring something means that something's pushing against you, but you have to endure. So it says, my son, when you come to serve the Most High, and it goes for the men and the women, when you come to serve the Most High, you got to set your mind to be ready to endure some pushback, some sort of conflict. Okay, read on.
And make not haste in time of trouble.
And don't get hasty in time of trouble. Meaning that don't get scared, don't run away, don't give up. Don't think, oh, I got to find another way because you have some sort of trial. So you would say, well, I'm going through this. This must not be the truth. All right? Before I was in the truth, everything was good. I came through this truth, and now I got problems. This must be the devil. Right? Nah, that's not how it works. You're going to have some problems. Most I said, just prepare yourself for it. When all these men, and we're going to read about Judas Maccabeus standing up for righteousness, he stood up against opposition. They fought against the enemy. Okay? If you're going to side with the Heavenly Father, guess what? You're going to take on all the Heavenly Father's enemies. Imagine. Everybody that hate the Most High, they hate you too now. You done gain a whole bunch of enemies because you want to be with the Heavenly Father. It's like the Messiah told us. He said, if they hate you, remember they hated me first.
Yeah.
Right? He told you, he said, listen, don't take it personal. You know what I mean? Read on.
Verse 3. Cleave unto him.
Right?
And depart not away.
Right. Cleave unto the Most High and don't run away if you're going through it. Stand, be steady. Don't run away. Read on.
That thou mayest be increased at thy last end.
Ah, that's the key right there. You're going to be increased at your last end. You're going to win if you don't run, if you don't fold up under the pressure, if you stand valiant, like we're going to read about. Our forefathers stood valiant, so they got the victory at the end. Read on.
Verse 4. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate.
Right. Be patient if you're going through some problems. Maybe you have more money, or maybe you have more property, maybe you have more love in your life, whatever the case would be, whatever kind of love you got, right? And now you come to the truth and everything out the door. He said, be patient. Be patient, right? Know that you stand up for righteousness and endure, right? Read on.
Verse 5. For gold is tried in the fire,
right?
And acceptable men in the furnace of adversity.
Right. So what? In the furnace of adversity. So you're going to fight and you're going to have some adversity. Things are going to come against you. But this is your refining. This is what makes you better. Like how when you put gold in the fire, you take out the impurities out of you. Right? So now your faith is built up because you went through some things with the Most High. So now your faith is strong as ever. Stronger than ever because you've been through some things. And you know what? It ain't that bad. You survive. And you know when you check yourself out, you say, I'm all right. It was a fight, but I'm okay. You know what I mean? Sometimes going through the worst thing possible is the best thing you could ever do. Right? Because you went through it. And now you realize, damn, I was fair in that. And then you went through it and you're like, you know what? I'm all right. I'm good. All right. Drop that. Give me James. Book of James 1 and 12.
The book of James, chapter 1 and verse 12. The book of James, chapter 1 and verse 12. Blessed is the man that endureth temptation.
Right.
For when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life.
He shall receive what?
Crown of life.
He shall receive the crown of life. All right. When he is tried and he's got the victory, he will receive the crown of life. Read on.
Which the Most High hath promised to them that love him.
Right. The Most High promised to them that love him. So there is a reward for winning the battle. All right. James 4 and 7.
The book of James, chapter 4 and verse 7.
Come on.
Submit yourselves, therefore, to the Most High. Resist the devil.
Do what?
Resist the devil.
You got to resist the devil. That means you got to fight. To resist means to fight. We're at James 4 and 7. To resist means to fight back. Don't just get beat up. Don't let the Satan just have you doing all kind of foolishness. Fight the temptation. Fight the whatever's trying to push you to go off the path. It could be a person. It could be within yourself. Put up a battle. Put up a fight. Read.
Resist the devil, and he will flee from you.
Come on.
Draw nigh to the Most High, and he will draw nigh to you.
There it is. Read.
Cleanse your hands.
Do what?
Cleanse your hands.
Clean your hands up, right? That means your hands represent your works. Cleanse your hands. Read.
Ye sinners.
Ye what?
Ye sinners.
Ye sinners. Okay. Read on.
And purify your hearts, ye double-minded.
Read on.
Be afflicted.
Be afflicted. What does it mean to be afflicted? Be hurt. Be hurt. Be afflicted. Read on.
And mourn.
And mourn. Be sad about it. Read on.
And weep.
And you might even cry about it. Read on.
Let your laughter be turned to mourning.
Come on.
And your joy to heaviness.
Because you may go through some hard times. Read on.
Humble yourselves in the sight of the Most High.
Right? And what's going to happen? Read.
And He shall lift you up.
And He's going to lift you up. See that? So when the drama comes, take it on. Everybody understand that? Because if you run from it, then what? How do you get the victory then? Right? How do you get the championship belt and you never stepped in the ring? How do you do that? You got to step in the ring. Nobody remembers every punch, but they remember who won. I'll tell you that much. Okay. You might lose a couple rounds. You might look like you took a couple bad ones. But if you were at the end, if Satan laying on his back and you got your hands raised, it's all good. You feel good anyway. But you just happy you won. Anybody understand that? I'm gonna give you an example right before one more scripture before we go into the story. It's in Ezra's 2nd Ezra's 7 and 6. 2nd Ezra 7 and 6.
The book of 2nd Ezra and the Apocrypha, chapter 7 and verse 6.
Come on.
There is also another thing.
Right.
A city is builded and set upon a broad field and is full of all good things. The entrance thereof is narrow and is set in a dangerous place to fall.
Right.
Like as if there were a fire on the right hand and on the left a deep water.
Right. So now you got this city with all these wonderful things in this city. But the entrance of the city is in a very dangerous place. Deep water, fire on one side, deep one on the side. You got to pass through this dangerous place to obtain all these wonderful things waiting for you in this city. Read on.
Verse 8. And one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once.
Right, so now it's very dangerous. Guess what? You can't even get no help with you. No one can help you on this path. This is all you. Read.
If this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance,
if the Most High wanted to bless you with all these wonderful things in this city, read on.
If he never shall pass the danger set before it,
but if you too scared to put yourself in harm's way, read on.
How shall he receive this inheritance?
How you gonna get it? How you gonna get it? You ain't gonna get it. Right? You're gonna stand back and say, oh man, that looks too dangerous. That looks rough. I don't want no trouble. I don't want no problems. I don't want no issues. You know people say that? I don't want no issues. I don't want no trouble. I don't want no problem. Wait a minute now. Are you sure? Because if you had to go through some positive issues and some situations so you can get the victory at the end, isn't that worth it? It's worth it. We're not rebels with no cause. We are rebels for a reason. When we resist for a reason. When we fight for a reason. So that when we get what we fighting for, we can stand back and say, come, look, I got the victory. Look how the Most High blessed me. I stayed faithful. I didn't give up. I didn't fall apart. Okay? So it's a warrior spirit that the Most High raises in you when you become an Israelite, when you wake up to knowing you're an Israelite. That wakes up your warrior spirit. Okay? How many people seen Black Panther? That movie Black Panther. Okay? So you saw the cat they call Killmonger, right? He had a warrior spirit. Okay. He was ready for the battle. He's ready to take over everything. Okay. Ready to do whatever he needed to do because he had nothing to lose. Okay. That's the kind of spirit that the Most High puts in you when you are ready to serve him. When you're ready to put away all your inhibitions, anything you think, trying to cover yourself or you worrying about things, ain't nothing to worry about. You're doing the Most High's will, ain't nothing to worry about. If you got to raise a sword for the Most High, it ain't nothing to worry about. If you got to raise your voice for the Most High, ain't nothing to worry about. If you got to stand on the corner, you got to stand on the stage, you got to grab whatever you got to do for the Most High, there's nothing to worry about. Because you know your words ain't yours. You know you're fighting for the king. You're fighting for the kingdom. How could you be afraid? Right? The Most High said, if the Most High is with you, who could be against you? You know what I mean? So, ain't nothing to be afraid of. And that's something that our forefathers understood. And what we're going to visit as we go through the history this evening. So, let's get to the history. Let's get to Maccabees. Let's start with 14:1. The book of Maccabees. Second Maccabees, 14 verse 1.
The book of Second Maccabees, and the red apocrypha, page 154, chapter 14 and verse 1.
Right.
After 3 years,
Apocrypha? You don't have apocrypha? Oh. I already gave mine away. So, another one. If anybody sitting next to somebody got apocrypha, they could lend apocrypha.
The book of Second Maccabees, chapter 14, verse 1. After 3 years was Judas informed that Demetrius, the son of Seleucus, having entered by the haven of Tripolis with a great power and navy, had taken the country and killed Antiochus and Lysias, his protector. Now, one alchemist, who had been high priest and had defiled himself quickly, in the times of their mingling with the Gentiles, seeing that by no means he could have himself, nor have any more access to the holy altar. Verse 4. Came to King Demetrius in the 115th year, presenting unto him a crown of gold and a palm, and also of the robes which were used solemnly in the temple. And so that day he held his peace. Howbeit, having gotten opportunity to further his foolish enterprise, and being called into counsel by Demetrius, and asked how the Jews stood affected, and what they intended, he answered thereunto. Those of the Jews that be called Assyrians, whose captain is Judas Maccabeus.
Right, so this cat, alchemist, right, is a traitor. If you didn't catch on to that by now, right? He's a traitor to the nation of Israel. He's coming against Judas Maccabeus, who's what? Fighting and warring to reestablish our kingdom, our area, our lands, you know, in the time of the the Greek rulership. He's trying to reestablish our land. Like we have the feast of Hanukkah. This is when Judas just rose up after his father Matthias. Judas rose up and got back our temple. And that's what we're celebrating when we celebrate Hanukkah. The temple being returned to us after Judas was very victorious fighting against Seleucus, all right, and getting our temple back. So that's what you celebrate during Hanukkah. Everybody understand that?
No.
So now we're reading the continuation. What happens afterwards? Okay, so this already went down. So now we're talking about thereafter. Judas is continuing his campaign with his mighty men, going around and setting things straight in the different provinces of Israel. At the same time, we're still under the Greek rulership, as in the whole area it's under Greek rulership still. Right? We don't.
2 Maccabees chapter 14, verse 6. Those of the Jews that be called Assyrians, whose captain is Judas Maccabeus, nourish war and are seditious and will not let the realm be in peace.
Right. He said they nourished war. It means that these men they weren't having it. Okay? They was ready to fight. If you try to oppress these men was ready to fight. Right? Today they would be called troublemakers. Rebel rousers. Okay? That's what they would be called today. They didn't have it. All right? Read on.
Verse 7. Therefore I, being deprived of my ancestors' honor, I mean the high priesthood, and now come hither. Right,
so now, alchemist is a what? What tribe is alchemist from by him making that statement? That's right, of the tribe of Levi. Right, he's a priest order, right? But he was, high governor in Israel. So he had position. Okay? Alchemists had position. So he's coming to Darius like, man, they not even letting me come in the temple no more. Because Judas then took over the temple, and they're like, nah, I ain't gonna do what you're wicked behind up here, alchemists. We know you ain't about no real truth. Okay. I show you when it comes time to rise up and to fight against the enemies of Israel, some of us might find out some of the enemies of Israel is Israel. Right? And it won't be the first time. Okay. So all Israel is not Israel. Right? Yeah, what scripture is that again? Yeah, it's escaping me right now. But the scripture say all Israel is not Israel. The brother ain't always a brother, man. He look like a brother. He talks some good brother talk, but when it comes to stand up for righteousness, he'd be out. Or he didn't try to what? Undercut. Come around the back, you used to watch that, what was that, First 48? In there singing. Yeah, I saw him do it. You saw things that didn't even happen. You saw everything so much. Right? Read on.
2 Maccabees chapter 14 and verse 8. First, verily, for the unfeigned care I have of things pertaining to the king. And secondly, even for that I intend the good of my own countrymen, for all our nation is in no small misery through the unadvised dealing of them aforesaid.
Right. To the unadvised dealing of them aforesaid. So what he's saying, because of Judas and these men, everything is messed up. Because they keep fighting and battling. Our whole nation's not at peace, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why everybody want to peace you to death. Why you can't just be peaceful? Why you gotta talk so loud? Why y'all look so angry? Why y'all look so upset? They come to the camp and say, why y'all look mad? So why aren't you mad? Scripture say wisdom maketh a wise man mad. Okay? Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. Right? But a gift disturbs the heart. So we know what that is. The payoff is the payoff. Right? Right.
Verse 9. Wherefore, O king, seeing thou knowest all these things, be careful for the country and our nation, which is pressed on every side according to the clemency that thou readily showest unto all. For as long as Judas liveth, it is not possible that the state should be quiet. This was no sooner spoken of him, but others of the king's friends, being maliciously set against Judas, did more incense Demetrius. Right, so they all try to boost Demetrius up. Yeah, let's get rid of Judas. Yeah, Judas is a problem. Right? All Judas was trying to do was reestablish our Lord's statutes and commandments. That's all he was trying to do. All he was trying to get our kingdom back, get our temple back. Right? All he wanted to do was serve. Remember, before the Greeks came into power, who was in power before the Greeks? Who remembers? We were under the Persian, the Medes, before the Greeks. And in the Persian, the Medes empire, we was allowed to have our temple. We was allowed to do our sacrifices, keep our Sabbaths, all right? Keep our laws. They didn't care about that.
long as we paid our taxes, go ahead, do you, right? But when the Greeks came into power, they want to come up in the temple. They want to desecrate our temple. They want to stop our lawful practices. They said everyone leave their religion, have one religion, right? We read about this when we went over the Hanukkah, right? It's the same mode that they push here in America. If you ain't Christian, you ain't right. If you're not in the Christian church, Christianity, something wrong with you then. Okay? What are you doing keeping those laws? They'll fight against you when they hear you keeping the laws of God. What? You keeping the what? You don't believe in Christ. They tell you crazy stuff like that, right? The Hellenistic period? Absolutely. It already started from the time of when the sellouts was selling out, when the Greeks first came into power, the Hellenistic period started. Because to call yourself Greek, to be Hellenistic means that you're calling yourself Greek, but you're actually from another family line nation, right? Even Hamites was calling themselves Greek. Israelites were calling themselves Greeks. Israelites were calling themselves Greek. The Hellenistic period, people were taking on Greek citizenship. Okay? This is why when you read the New Testament, it talks about the Gentiles. It ain't talking about other nations. It's talking about Israel that's Hellenized. All right? That were living as Gentiles. That took on Gentile customs, Gentile lifestyle. Okay? Completely left the synagogue and the nation of Israel. They didn't even call themselves Israel no more. All right? Just like our people today. We call ourselves black and Negroes and Christian and all these. We don't call ourselves Israel. All right? This is systematic. It's from the Hellenistic period. Right? The people getting Hellenized. So we're definitely in that time period. All right? It's been started. Probably over 100 years into it already. All right? We're 100 years into Hellenistic. So we're real bad at this point. All right? things is jacked up at this point. All right? Read on.
The book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 14, and verse 12, page 145. And forthwith, calling Nicanor.
Call who?
Nicanor.
That's why we gather here, because of that devil himself, Nicanor. All right? Read.
Who had been master of the elephants, and making him governor over Judea, he sent him forth, commanding him to slay Judas, and to scatter them that were with him, and to make alchemists high priests of the great temple.
Right. So alchemists are trying to be put in position of the temple. So they call him Nicanor, who was the master of what? Who caught that? The master of what? The what? The elephants, right? Did anybody hear that? What are they used for? What were the elephants used for? Huh? See? You said move things? Huh? No. Anybody see that movie 300? No? Yeah. I gotta see that movie, man. You know what them elephants was used for. Them elephants was used to kill people and crush people. They used to use elephants like they use tanks today. Yeah. That's how they used to use elephants. They used to harness elephants and use them and train them to kill. If an elephant, a pachyderm, come down this street, it's going to tear everything up. These things are tons and tons. These things are huge. And you can actually train them. You see them in the circus, right? That's to train them. They got all of it doing silly tricks, but that can just let you know how smart the elephant really is, right? They used to train them for warfare. They had elephants that lived, they wanted to fight. They had to lock them down and just let them, when they let them loose, they tear everything, they're going to kill everything. right? The long tusks, and they knew how to use their bodies and to in warfare. So that's what he was the master of, the elephants for warfare. Okay, so they called in Nicanor, the master of the elephants, to take out Judas Maccabeus. Right? Read on.
Second Maccabees 14 and verse 14. Then the heathen, when had fled out from Judea and Judas, came to Nicanor by flocks, thinking the harm and calamities of the Jews to be their welfare.
Right, so they said, oh man, you're going to come and crush the Jews? This is our chance to win, right? The heathens always jump on the bandwagon when our people fall, okay? When our people is in the, put down the place of servitude, all they need to eat food because of our servitude, okay? When we stop dealing with each other and stop being a nation, all the nations got rich, right? We were going over this last week, right? We saying that what? Ishmael come all the way from Saudi Arabia, right? With families on families to come all the way to America, the land of the free, to open up a store in the hood. Really? So right in the hood? To sell you chicken and pizza when they don't even eat chicken and pizza. And ham sandwiches and pepperoni. They don't eat that. To open up elegant beauty hair supply places in your neighborhood, because you know you're gonna buy it. They came all the way from wherever the hell they was at over there, from the desert somewhere. Had a dream to come here to America and sell you here. They know you was gonna buy it, right? The Chinese come over here, right? Right. All right, I'm gonna get to them too. The Chinese come over here, right? Cooking, they don't cook on fried rice over there in China. They come over here and cook it up for you, though, right? Because they know you're gonna buy it. Because all the nations know once we're in a servitude condition, they're going to be rich. When we're in a condition of nationhood, we're gonna buy from our own. We don't buy for them. They can't do that in other people's neighborhood because anybody gonna buy for them. Let them try to run up in the middle of Amalek neighborhood talking about they flying a beauty supply place. I'm like for what? We don't buy from you people. We buy from our own. That store closed. That store wouldn't be open 1 week. They'll get no sales. Right? How was sales this week? Nothing. Nobody came in here. That's it. Right. But we were going run in there. Oh, they opened up a new store. Wonder what they selling. Yeah. We went in there without wallet. We don't even know what they're selling yet. What's there to buy? Right? We ready to buy something from these. We don't understand yet what it means to be a nation. That's why we like that. Because we all came up from not even having, from destroyed for lack of knowledge. When we come up from not having nothing, and over generations, we just happy to have something. But we're not ready to close the door and say, you know what, we're our own nation. We're not dealing with y'all no more. We're not ready. A mentality of our people are not ready for that yet. But it's getting there as we put on our heritage and realize what it means to be a nation again. A nation takes care of its own people. It does not rely on another people to take care of their own people. A nation looks at all their people as a connected source. That individual life mentality, that's something of slavery. All right? So when one went down, we all went down. When there was an enemy of Israel, he was an enemy to the whole nation. He had a whole nation to deal with. Right? He wasn't just an enemy to them brothers over there. Okay? It's a different mentality. All right? So Judas was trying to get that free man mentality back to the people, that nation mentality back to our people, but our people still, we was already divided. We already had that, we already got divided and infiltrated by the Greeks and was thinking individualistic at this point. All right, let's read on.
The book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 14, and verse 15. Now when the Jews heard of Nicanor's coming, and that the heathen were up against them, they cast earth upon their heads,
right?
and made supplication to him that hath established his people forever, and who always helpeth his portion with manifestation of his presence.
That's right. And who's that? The Most High Yahweh. He always sent a way. He always had an escape, some way to fix the situation to his people. All right, read.
Verse 16. So at the commandment of the captain they removed straight ways from thence, and came near unto them at the town of Bethsut. Now Simon Judas, brother, had joined battle with Nicanor, but was somewhat discomfited through the sudden silence of his enemies.
Right.
Nevertheless, Nicanor, hearing of the manliness of them that were with Judas, and the courageousness that they had to fight for their country, durst not try the matter by the sword.
Right.
Wherefore he sent Posidonius,
Yes.
and Theodotus,
right.
and Matthias to make peace.
Right.
So when they had taken long advisement thereupon, and the captain had made the multitude acquainted therewith, and it appeared that they were all of one mind, they consented to the covenants.
Right. Come on.
And appointed a day to meet in together by themselves. And when the day came, and stools were set for either of them,
right,
Judas placed all men ready in convenient places, lest some treachery should be suddenly practiced by the enemies.
Come on.
So they made a peaceable conference. Now Nicanor abode in Jerusalem, and did not hurt, but sent away the people that came flocking unto him.
Right. So see what happened here? Nicanor knew that Judas had a rough army with him, valiant men. So he said, I can't go and try him with the sword. I need to come with a different way. So what did he come with? Huh? What did he come with? We just read it. Huh? Huh? No? What did we just read? Peace. He came with peace. He came with a peace treaty. He said, let's sit down, let's talk about it. He said he sent men. He sent Thaddeus. We just read about it. He sent Posonius, Thaddeus, and Matthias to go there and sit and talk. Yeah. And let's talk about peace. Right? Let's not talk about war. Where all the time, what was in the mind of Nicanor? It was war. But he couldn't come at you like with war like that, because he said, yo, he said Judas Maccabeus took out. Remember, who remembers we went over it during the Hanukkah celebration? He took out 16,000, 60,000, 50,000. He wasn't playing. Anybody came up against Judas Maccabeus, they were getting dealt with. So he heard of all that happened. So he said, I'm not going to go up against Judas Maccabeus with no sword and get killed. I got to come with peace. But it was always a sword within his mind. Okay? Matter of fact, read that scripture. Yeah, read that scripture. Words as smooth as oil, drawn sword. Yeah, read that real quick.
The book of Psalm, chapter 55, and verse 20. Yeah. He hath put forth his hands against such as to be at peace with him.
Right.
He hath broken his covenant.
Right.
The words of his mouth were smooth than butter.
Right.
The will was in his heart.
All right. So that's the spirit that Nicanor had on him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the spirit that our enemies use on us all the time. And our people fall for it over and over and over again. They use peace for you to open down, for you to put your guard down. And they say, let's work together. We don't have to be separated. What do you need? Right? They even give you a gift. Right? Most of our people, that's it. Oh, you know what? Tom, you're the greatest. Right? Come on over. Right? I'm sorry we was upset. And they mend up everything. And meanwhile, Tom is sitting back there. Wait till you turn your back. And I got the upper hand on you. You finish. Huh? That was the mentality of Nicanor. He was smart. He said, no, I can't go toe for toe with you. And that's how Esau deal with us today. He don't go toe to toe with us. He make us think that we're integrated and we're all together and we're all going through the same things. And he cried with you and he holds your hand and reach our hands across America. Right? Meanwhile, he's pumping drugs in your community. He's making sure that your street gangs are heavily armed with the latest artillery. Right? He's making sure that the educational system is still neglecting our entire history. Right? We're still learning that Christopher Columbus discovered America. They still pushing lies. They say there's a separation between church and state, but the state every year you off for Christmas. Is that not a religious holiday? Last time I checked, right? That's some Christian stuff, right? You know Christmas in the Bible, but every year, right? It's a religious holiday. So there's a lot of things they sneak in on us, but through the what? Through the front of peace, through the front of us getting along, right? The worst thing that happened to our people was segregation. Okay? Huh? Integration, yeah. Sorry. The worst thing was integration. The best thing was segregation. That's right. I said it backwards. Right. Integration, all that meant was dilution. Something was strong and they added water to it and they diluted it. As a people, we're strong together. And when we mingle amongst the heathen, we become weaker. Okay, we no longer have that strength. Now we're mining the things of the heathen because we're a loving people automatically. Right? We're respectful, loving people. That's in our spirit. So we're going to respect and love the person next to us. But the problem is the person next to us should be your fellow Israelite, just like the scripture said. That's your neighbor. But we're intermingled amongst the other nations. So now what? We don't know what enemy is anymore. Okay, it's not clear. But here, this is what Nicanor was using against Judas and against Israel. So let's go back to the story.
The book of 2 Maccabees chapter 14 and verse 24. And he would not willingly have Judas out of his sight, for he loved the man from his heart. He prayed him also to take a wife and to beget children. So he married, was quiet, and took part of his life. Right. Well, but Alchemists, perceiving the love that was betwixt them, and considering the covenants that were made, came to Demetrius and told him that Nicanor was not well affected toward the state.
Right. So Alchemists, he don't realize what Nicanor was up to. He said, man, I said Nicanor to kill Judas. He gave Judas a wife. They hanging out. That wasn't the plan. Alchemist went to Demetrius saying, listen, this want this man dead. Demetrius gets Nicanor, and Nicanor is playing in-laws with Judas. What's going on here? Read on.
For that he had ordained Judas a traitor to his realm to be the king's successor. Mm-hmm. Then the king, being in a rage and provoked with the accusations of the most wicked man, wrote to Nicanor, signifying that he was much displeased with the covenants and commanding him that he should send Maccabeus prisoner in all haste unto Antioch. Mm-hmm. When this came to Nicanor's hearing, he was much confounded in himself and took it grievously that he should make void the articles which were agreed upon, the man being in no fault.
Right, so Judas being in no fault, but Nicanor quickly pulled back all them covenants that he made with him. All right, all those acts, all those amendments that he made with, he pulled them back right overnight. All right, a lot of people don't realize that it's an act, an amendment that even says that that so-called freed the slaves. that can be pulled back at any moment, any time. They didn't exactly change the Constitution. You're still 3/5 of a man because you have no origin or heritage according to the laws of America. That's why you're 3/5 of a man, because you have no origin or heritage that you can be traced back to. That's what he's claiming. Okay? And that's why the Constitution writes that you are 3/5 of a man, the so-called Negroes in this land. Okay. There's a little history lesson there. Read.
Verse 29. But because there was no dealing against the king, he watched his time to accomplish this thing by policy.
Right.
Notwithstanding, when Maccabeus saw that Nicanor began to be churlish unto him, and that he entreated him more roughly than he was wont, perceiving that such sour behavior came not of good, he gathered together not a few of his men and withdrew himself from Nicanor.
Right. So Judas caught on real quick. It's how Nicanor he ain't acting the same. You heard what he just said? How he talking to me? Spirit done changed. When he got his men and said, "Listen, they gonna make a move." Right. So he didn't waste any time. He didn't go to Nicanor and say, "What's wrong? How can we work this thing out?" He knew that something was, a different spirit was on Nicanor all of a sudden. And he said, "Listen, I'm gonna get my men and we're gonna gird ourselves, gonna be ready for the battle." Read.
Verse 31. But the other, knowing that he was notably prevented by Judas' policy, came into the great and holy temple and commanded the priests that were offering their usual sacrifices to deliver him, the man. And when they swear that they could not tell where the man was whom he sought, he stretched out his right hand toward the temple and made an oath in his manner. If he would not deliver me Judas as a prisoner, I will lay this temple of the Most High even with the ground, and I will break down the altar and erect a noble temple unto Bacchus.
Unto Bacchus. All right. Bacchus is another one of those false gods.
Yeah.
Okay. We look up the false, you hear about Bacchus. That's a false god of the Greeks. He said, "I will knock this temple down that you got here of the Most High Yahweh. I'll knock it down and raise a temple of Bacchus right here in the street. Right? If you don't deliver to me Judas." So who's saying this? Nope. It's alchemists. Right? You gotta stay with the story. Right? So alchemists jumped back on the scene. He said, "Man, listen, you keep right up in there. Alchemist right now, he got no patience." So he jumped ahead of Nicanor. He ran up in the temple and said, remember, Alchemist had his eye on the temple. He wanted to be the high priest. Right? So Alchemist went up in the temple and started making big talk in the temple, threatening people and stuff. Okay, read on.
Verse 44. After these words, he departed. Then the priests lifted up their hands toward heaven and besought him that was ever a defender of their nation, saying in this manner, Thou, O Most High of all things, who has need of nothing, was pleased that the temple of thine habitation should be among us. Therefore now, O Holy Most High, of all holiness or righteousness, keep this house ever undefiled, which lately was cleansed, and stop every unrighteous mouth. Now was there accused unto Nicanor one Razus, one of the elders of Jerusalem, a lover of his countrymen, and a man of a very good report, who for his kindness was called a father of the Jews. For in the former times, when they mingled not themselves with the Gentiles, he had been accused of Judaism, and did boldly jeopard his body and life with all the vehemency for the religion of the Jews. So Nicanor, willing to declare the hate that he bare unto the Jews, sent above 500 men of war to take him. For he thought, by taking him to do the Jews much hurt, now when the multitude would have taken the power and violently broken into the outer door, and bade that fire should be brought to burn it, he being ready to be taken on every side, fell upon his sword. choosing rather to die manfully than to come into the hands of the wicked to be abused otherwise than the seed is noble birth.
Right. So this man was a just man. He said, I'm gonna fall on my own sword. I ain't going in the hands of these men. So before I let Nicanor get me with his men, I'm gonna kill myself. So he chose death before capture. And he was only trying to capture him to make a point to Israel to say, listen, I got one of your main men. Right? I done got captured one of your main men. But he said, I'd rather fall on the sword and let this happen. Read on.
Verse 43. But missing his stroke through haste, the multitude also rushing within the doors, he ran boldly up to the wall and cast himself down manfully among the thickest of them.
Right, so what? He missed it. He tried to fall on the sword. Yeah. It didn't work out quite well. He missed, right? So then he saw them busting through the gate. So he said, man, forget this. He went up on top and jumped down. Right? He wasn't going out. He wasn't going out. He wasn't going to be captured. All right? Read on.
Verse 44. But they quickly gave him back, and a space being made, he fell down into the midst of the void place.
Right. So the people ran out of his way when they saw him jump off the tower. They got out of his way. The man hit the floor. Everybody looking at him like, what's wrong with this guy? Read on.
Verse 45. Nevertheless, while there was yet breath within him, being inflamed with anger, he rose up. And though his blood gushed out like spouts of water, and his wounds were grievous, yet he ran through the midst of the throng, and standing upon a steep rock, when as his blood was now quite gone, he plucked out his bowels, and taking them in both his hands, he cast them upon the throng, and calling upon the Most High of his life and spirit to restore him those again, he thus died.
That was a gangster.
Wow.
A lot of people think they're gangster. That man right there is on another level. All right? That man, he ripped everything out of cast on it. Listen, we some mighty men in Israel, man. Right? That man, he died with valor that day. All right? But he was not going into the hands of Nicanor. That's for sure. Chapter 15.
Second Maccabees 15 and verse 1. But Nicanor, hearing that Judas and his company were in the strong places about Samaria, resolved without any danger to set upon them on the Sabbath day.
Right. So why? He tried the old Sabbath day trick now. Let's go fight him on the Sabbath day. Why? Why would he want to fight on the Sabbath day? That's right, because we rested. We're not trying to fight nobody on the Sabbath. It's the Sabbath. Yeah. We're not going to be working and setting up arrangement of, it's the Sabbath. We shut down on the Sabbath. So he said, I'm going to go get them on the Sabbath. That's the key. Because they're going to be on their rest day. They're going to be praying, facing Jerusalem, and I'm going to hit them in the back of the head. Right? That was his plan. Read.
Verse 2. Nevertheless, the Jews that were compelled to go with him said, O destroy not so cruelly and barbarously, but give honor to that day, which he that seeth all things have honor with holiness above other days.
Now you see that? There was Jews with Nicanor. Hellenistic Jews, though. Right? They were repping Greek, but they were coming after Judas, but they even had in their spirit a little respect for the Sabbath day. They were like, yo, I don't know about going up in there the Sabbath day now. I mean, I'm wicked, but I ain't that wicked. He said, don't be that barbarous. Right? It's the Sabbath day, for Pete's sake, right? That's how serious we was about the Sabbath day. And even the wicked Israelites kept the Sabbath. Right? Read on.
Verse 3. Then the most ungracious wretch demanded if there were a mighty one in heaven that had commanded the Sabbath day to be kept. And when they said, there is in heaven a living power and mighty who commanded the seventh day to be kept. Then said the other, and I also am mighty upon earth, and I commanded to take arms and to do the king's business. Yet he obtained not to have his wicked will done. So Nicanor, in exceeding pride and haughtiness, determined to set up a public monument of his victory over Judas and them that were with him. But Maccabeus had ever sure confidence that the Most High would help him. Wherefore, he exhorted his people not to fear the coming of the heathen against them, but to remember the help which in former times they had received from heaven, and now to expect the victory and aid which should come unto them from the Almighty.
Right, from the El Shaddai. Power that's enough. Read on.
Verse 9. And so comforting them out of the law and the prophets, and withal putting them in mind of the battles that they won before, he made them more cheerful. And when he had stirred up their minds, he gave them their charge, showing them therewithal the falsehood of the heathen and the breach of oaths. Thus he armed every one of them, not so much with defense of shields and spears, as with comfortable and good words. And beside that, he told them a dream worthy to be believed, as if it had been so indeed, which did not inwardly rejoice them. And this was his vision.
Yeah. So he gave him a vision. He gave him a war talk. You know what I mean? He went and gave them a war cry. Said, listen, man, you know, he wanted to deal with the hearts of the men to make sure that you're ready to battle, ready to fight. Okay? That you don't be discovered. Don't think the Most High don't have your back. And sometimes that's all we need. We need a pep talk every once in a while. Everybody needs that that's in a battle, that's in a fight. Knowing that what? The Most High got you. Yahweh got you. He is not a power afar off. He's a power that's near. Right? He said, if you join nigh unto him, he's going to join nigh unto you. He's not going to leave you for you to fall and crumble. And you upholding his word. That's not the kind of power that we serve. Okay? The kind of power we serve, those that forsake him not, stand strong with him. Okay? They stand strong with him. Verse I'm thinking of. Any been forsaken? Sirach 2:10, right? I think we just pulled it. Yeah. Yeah, give me Sirach 2. Hold it right here. And give me Sirach 2:10. Come, that's what it is.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 2, and verse 10.
What?
Look at the generations of old and see, did any trust in the Most High and was confounded?
Right, you gotta always remember that. Anybody trust in the Most High and was confounded, the Most High confused the righteous, left you bewildered? No. But you gotta trust him. What do you need to trust? You need to trust him when times what? Are hard, difficult. He's not gonna leave you confounded. Read on.
Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken?
Abide in his fear and the Most High left you? And you were doing what you're supposed to do for the Father? No. You have to abide in his fear. You have to abide in the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High and his will, no matter what. Read.
Or whom did he ever despise?
Right.
And called upon him?
Right. Come on.
For the Most High is full of compassion and mercy, long-suffering and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins, and saveth in time of affliction.
There it is. He saveth in time of affliction. Always got to remember that. No matter what's going on, the Most High saveth in time of affliction. If you keep the faith, if you stay with the Father, if you stay with the commandments. All right, let's go back now.
The book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 15, and verse 12.
So this is what he was reminding the men.
And this was his vision, that Onias, who had been high priest, a virtuous and a good man, reverent in conversation, gentle in condition, well spoken also, and exercised from a child in all points of virtue, holding up his hands, prayed for the whole body of the Jews. This done in like manner, there appeared a man with gray hairs and exceeding glorious, who was of a wonderful and excellent majesty.
Who's that man? Who had the gray hairs? Who's that? Yahushua, right? That his hair was white like snow. His hair was all gray. All right, read on.
Verse 14. Then Onias answered, saying, This is a lover of the brethren, who prayeth much for the people and for the holy city, to wit, Jeremiah the prophet of the Most High. Whereupon Jeremiah, holding forth his right hand, gave the Jews a sword of gold, and in giving it spake thus, Take this holy sword, a gift from the Most High, with the which thou shalt wound the adversaries, thus being well comforted by the words of Judas, which were very good, and able to stir them up to valor, and to encourage the hearts of the young men, they determined not to pitch camp, but courageously set upon them, and manfully to try the matter by conflict, because the city and the sanctuary and the temple were in danger. For the care that they took for their lives and their children, their brethren and kinfolks, was in least account with them. But the greatest and principal fear was for the holy temple.
Right, they were ready to sacrifice everything to protect the temple. They wasn't worried about, oh, I gotta get back to my children, oh, my wife, all this. No, the temple, they were ready to die for it. They were gonna die valiantly with valor for the temple. It wasn't backing down for the truth, for establishing righteousness. That's what they were fighting for. Read on.
Verse 18. For the care that they took for their wives and their children, their brethren and kinfolks was in least account with them.
Right.
But the greatest and principal fear was for the holy temple.
Come on.
Also, they that were in the city took not the least care, being troubled for the conflict abroad.
Come on.
And now, when as all looked what should be the trial, and the enemies were already come near, and the army was set in array, and the beasts conveniently placed, and the horsemen set in wings. Maccabeus, seeing the coming of the multitude, and the divers preparations of honor, and the fierceness of the beast, stretched out his hands toward heaven, and called upon the Most High that worketh wonders, knowing that victory cometh not by arms, but even as it seemeth good to him, he giveth it to such as are worthy.
Right. So what? He knew that it wasn't about his armory, his gun, what type of gun he got, what type of weaponry he have. He knew it was all about the Most High giving the victory. He knew that, even though they was arrayed in their mighty valiant army. Yeah, in their army, they were set up to fight, but they knew that the victory could only come by if the Most High blessed. So with all their armor, they raised their hands to the Most High. Yeah. They didn't trust in their weaponry. They trusted in the Father. Everybody see that? We can't trust in Esau weaponry. You got all kind of weaponry. It says you got this gun or that gun. There's always another gun. By the time he creates this gun, guess what? He's in the midst of creating the next one and the next one. And you already got the old model. By the time the model you bought came to your house, it's already the old model. The new model already came out. And it can do this and they can do that. There's always going to be something. But there's only one power in your house. Everybody understand that? Which protects you from all things. It's greater than all things. All right, read.
Verse 22. Therefore, in his prayer, he said after this manner, O Most High, thou didst send thine angel in the time of Ezekias, king of Judea, and didst slay in the host of Sennacherib 180,5,000. Wherefore, now also, O Most High of heaven, send a good angel before us for a fear and dread unto them. And through the might of thine arm, let those be stricken with terror that come against the holy people to blaspheme. And he did thus. Then Nicanor and they that were with him came forward with trumpets and songs. But Judas and his company encountered the enemies with invocation and prayer. So that fighting with their hands and praying unto the Most High with their hearts, They slew no less than 30 and 5,000 men. For through the appearance of Yah, they were greatly cheered. Now when the battle was done, returning again with joy, they knew that Nicanor lay dead in his harness. Then they made a great shout and a noise praising the Almighty in their own language.
Right, so they got the victory, praising the Most High in their own language. What do you think they said? Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
That's in our own language. Hallelujah is Hebrew. Right? Praise Yahweh. Praise Yah. So they praised the Most High in their own language. They kept saying hallelujah. Hallelujah. They got the victory. They were outnumbered. They were outmanned. But what? The Most High, they went there praying with their heart, fighting with their hands, but praying with their hearts. Their mind was on the Most High, even though their hands was in the battle. All right, that's how they went forth and got the victory. Even killed Nicanor in his harness. Right, read on.
Verse 30. And Judas, who was ever the chief defender of the citizens both in body and mind,
right,
and who continued his love toward his countrymen all his life, commanded to strike off Nicanor's head.
To do what?
To strike off Nicanor's head.
Make sure you take his head. Okay. Because that represents taking his whole spirit. He's done. So he said anytime our mighty men would kill the enemy, they would take their head. All right. You read about David and Goliath, right? After David slew Goliath with the slingshot, what do you do after that? You cut that man's head off. Okay, walked around with that bad boy, but you know what's up. Okay, so this is what they were doing with Nicanor. Come on.
And his hand with his shoulder, and bring them to Jerusalem.
And his hand with his shoulder. Damn, it just cut a man like this, like us. Right? Read on.
Verse 31. So when he was there and had called them of his nation together and set the priests before the altar, he sent for them that were of the tower, and showed them bowed Nicanor's head, and the hand of that blasphemer, which with proud brags he has stretched out against the holy temple of the Almighty.
Right? See now? I said you forgot that was that he was saying he's gonna kill, he's gonna break down the temple. Read on.
Verse 33. And when he had cut out the tongue of that unrighteous Nicanor,
he ain't finished with him yet.
He commanded that they should give it by pieces unto the fowls, and hang up the reward of his madness before the temple. So every man praised toward the heaven the glorious power, saying, Blessed be he that hath kept his own place undefiled. He hanged also Nicanor's head upon the tower, an evident and manifest sign unto all of the help of the Most High. And they ordained all with a common decree in no case to let that day pass without solemnity, but to celebrate the 13th day of the 12th month.
The 13th day of the 12th month, and that's where we at now. This is the 13th day of the 12th month. Go ahead. The 13th day. Because this day is according to the new moon. The new moon was 13 days ago. Okay? So it's according to the new moon. Remember, our months goes according to the moon. Okay? Also, I mean, we said 13, 30th day, sorry, 30th day. Right? 30th day from the new moon. Sorry. All right. That's why you're asking. I get it now. Can I read it again?
Verse 35. He hanged also Nicanor's head upon the tower, an evident and manifest sign unto all of the help of the Most High. And they ordained all with a common decree, in no case to let that day pass without solemnity, but to celebrate the 13th day of the 12th month, which is in Syrian tongue is called Adar, the day before Mardoshi's day.
Yeah, the day before Mardoshi's day, which is Mordecai's day. Okay, that's Mordecai's day. Mordecai's day is Purim. Okay, so the day before Mordecai's day. All right, so just read on.
Verse 37. Thus went it with Nicanor, and from that time forth the Hebrews had the city in their power. And hear what I make an end. And if I have done well, and as is fitting the story, it is that which I desired. But if slenderly and meanly, it is that which I could attain unto.
Right.
But as it is hurtful to drink wine or water alone, and as wine mingled with water is pleasant, and delighteth the taste, even so speech finely framed delighteth the ears of them that read the story. And here shall be an end.
Right, here shall be an end. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
So this is now we understand why we gathered tonight and what we're celebrating. We're celebrating a great victory over Nicanor, the enemy of Israel, showing that our people gathered together valiantly and fought and won. And we continue to do so once we depend on the Most High. Yeah, once we trust in the Father, we will get the victory. Come? So, with that being said, we're going to bless the food. We're going to close out the convocation. The combat there? I see him right here coming. Yeah, Bob. Come here. All right, so we're gonna blow the shofar, we're gonna finish Shabbat, and we're gonna close out the Holy Convocation. Okay? Hallelujah.
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 Who's the power?
Yahweh's the power.
Who's the power?
Yahweh's the power.
By Hashem?
Yahweh Shah.
By Hashem?
Yahweh Shah.
Kuras, kuras, kuras.
Kuras, kuras, kuras.
Kuras, kuras, kuras.
Kuras, kuras, kuras.
Holy, holy, holy.
Holy, holy, holy.
Is the name.
Is the name.
Abanawa.
Abanawa.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Holy, holy, holy.
Holy, holy, holy.
Is the name.
Is the name.
Hamashiach.
Hamashiach.
Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Shah.
Kom Abanawa Yahweh.
Kum Abanawa Yahweh.
Kom Abanawa Yahweh.
Kum Abanawa Yahweh.
Kom Mashiach Yahweh Shai.
Kum Mashiach Yahweh Shah.
Kom Mashiach Yahweh Shai.
Kum Mashiach Yahweh Shah.
Kom Yasharala.
Kum Yasharala.
Kom Yasharala.
Kum Yasharala.
Barakatha Yahweh.
Barakatha Yahweh.
Bahashem.
Bahashem.
Hamashiach.
Hamashiach.
Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Shah.
Hawa'ah.
Hawa'ah.
Tadanawa.
Tadanawa.
Chach.
Ma.
Yachach.
Yachach.
Nicanor.
Nicanor.
Tawada.
Tawada.
Tamyad.
Tamyad.
Abkushah.
Abkushah.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bahashem.
Bahashem.
Hamashiach.
Hamashiach.
Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Shah.
Barak.
Barak.
Warapah.
Warapah.
Bakazach.
Bakazach.
Wamakan.
Wamakan.
Washma'al.
Washma'al.
Akim.
Akim.
Wa.
Wa.
Akwakim.
Akrakim.
Abkushah.
Abkushah.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bahashem.
Bahashem.
Hamashiach.
Hamashiach.
Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Shah.
Yachach.
Yahach.
Shaitan.
Shaitan.
Yachach.
Yahach.
Shaitan.
Shaitan.
Yachach.
Yahach.
Ko.
Ko.
Rai.
Rai.
Rachayim.
Rahai.
Yachach.
Yahach.
Ko.
Ko.
Rai.
Rai.
Rachayim.
Rahai.
Abkushah.
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 All praises be to God, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, for his mercy truly endure forever. We thank Yahweh for giving us this feast. We thank Yahweh for giving us this victory. We thank you how you continue to give us the victory even in these last days over our enemies. And continue to put a valiant spirit in thy children, that we might stand boldly in the face of our adversaries, and might trust in thy high and holy way and thy high and holy word. Bible shall Yahweh bless the food that has the hands that have labored over it, and the mouths that shall receive it. And let this food be a blessing to all those that take part in this holy convocation. Let that food be a blessing and it be nourishment to our bodies, as this word was nourishment unto our spirit, and filled us and inspired us to stand boldly in the face of Shaitan, to stand boldly, girded and armed against all enemies of Israel. Heavenly Father, put a spirit of nationality again within thy children. Put the spirit of the armory and a spirit of boldness in our mighty men, that we might defend our nation against all who hate Israel. All this we ask in the name of the Most High, in the name of Mashiach Yahweh, that all that have breath praise Yahweh. Hallelujah. That all that have breath praise Yahweh. Hallelujah. Bahashem Mashiach Yahweh, Duwalat Yah, Amen. Amen. Most High hand.